How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TableTakes. We have so much board game news for you today. Sadly, Peter could not be here with us, but that just means we get to have our lovely producer showing his face. We are so excited to have you again, Marcus. Um, thank you so much for filling in. We appreciate it. Okay, so folks, we have a lot of board game news, and as usual, we want to just jump right into it. But first, we got to check in with all of our hosts. We have so much other stuff going on in our lives. What have you all been up to? Let's start with you, Noir.
Oh boy. Not too much. The Ren Fair near where I live, Bristol Renaissance, is getting ready to start, and my favorite bar is having a Ren Fair pop up. So some of the folks here in Chicago that are going to the Ren Fair are bringing their goods to my favorite bar first. And it also happens to coincide with karaoke night. So,
Ooh,
am I going to be singing Blues Traveler's Hook while wearing a full set of armor? Yeah, that's happening.
that's amazing. I hope you
Video
can record
origin
it
it
for us.
happened.
Marcus, what about you? What have you been up to this week? Marcus, I think you might be muted.
You may be.
Oh boy. Hey, so Marcus was just telling us about how Tears of the Kingdom is kind of the worst of all of the Zelda games. It's like it's the newest one, so it's like overhyped and everything like that. But honestly, why would you want to play the Zelda game that makes you do all the work? Okay, I've been playing a little bit of it, and honestly, building things is like the worst game mechanic, and they should
Take
definitely
that back.
think
Take that
about it.
back. You take that back.
Zelda
Take
just
that
tricked
back.
all of y'all into playing Minecraft, and I can't believe you
Exactly.
chumps fell for it.
Exactly. Okay.
Minecraft is the best
Bonsai,
game
what
ever.
about you? Bonsai.
Speaking of
Minecraft is
Minecraft, don't even. I'm very sad because the most recent mod I was playing with Minecraft RPG, which is Dawncraft, the server that I was on after defeating 3 bosses and finally getting a full set of diamond armor and being
Jeez.
able to use the anvil, crashed. Crash.
justice for JVR.
See, I learned my lesson. I will not be playing on any Minecraft server with Bonsai's name attached to it.
Oh my
Because
god.
every Minecraft server Bonsai's name touches is just
Mm.
pure curse.
It's because we like all our mods. I want to have like rainbow bees, okay? Jeez Louise. Give me a beautiful rainbow bees.
All right, hopefully all of the technical difficulties have been dealt with in good fashion, and now, yay, we can hear you, Marcus. They can
Yes.
hear you. Excellent.
Yes.
Yay. So who was that
Fantastic.
handsome man you showed on the screen?
Yes, so I am going to go back and do my introduction if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, hi.
course.
My name is Peter. That is not Peter, that is Hiroshi Tanahashi. I am very excited about Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's going to be wrestling at this week's Forbidden Door pay per view in Toronto, Canada. I am very excited. He is a wonderful wrestler and kind of my personal hero. So other than that, Gen Con 2023 is in full swing. Really working hard in the prep there. So really excited to show you what we have in store for possibly the biggest Gen Con we've ever had. Fingers crossed, let's see. And of course, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a great game. It is a fantastic game, and I did not say anything at all. If you have a problem with it, if you got a problem with that, that's okay, because you're allowed to rate things for yourself, and that's what loving and hating things is. I like it. If you don't, that's totally cool. That's totally fool.
No.
That was. I'm sorry, Noir. I called you a total fool. That was my bad. What I
How
meant to
dare
say,
you?
it was totally cool, like Noir.
Aw.
Well,
Also-
speaking... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry.
No,
I was-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I thought you were supposed to be putting up a picture of a wrestler. I just saw a picture of you with an apron.
That's my life goal.
Well, Bonsai, I'm glad you asked. Speaking of things that are overrated, like Zelda, I have been up to a lot this week. I went to Portland for some Pride events. I'm really excited for Pride this weekend. And I've also been playing a lot of Coffee Talk on Steam. The second episode came out finally. We're so happy. I have never once cared about story in video games, typically, like as a rule. But for some reason, a coffee shop game set in Seattle with mythical creatures as anthropomorphized like drama. It's really fun. I just enjoy pretending to be a barista. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm playing a lot of it, and I can't wait to tell you how it ends. I'll spoil it for all of you. Ha ha ha. Speaking of spoiling things, we're gonna spoil the news for you folks before you get a chance to read it yourselves. We've got headlines on headlines, and boy, we have some really exciting stuff to talk about today. So let's just jump right into it. So here we go. First of all, as is tradition, the pattern for the last few weeks, we've had very special interview guests, and this week is not breaking that tradition at all. We have another special guest by the name of Steve Ellis. Steve Ellis will be helping us to promote Free RPG Day, which is tomorrow. Free RPG Day, for those of you who maybe don't know, is the event of the year for hobby game stores around the world. It's all about the top RPG publishers releasing exclusive, one-of-a-kind, brand new adventures, previews, and accessories. So they're all free. You just go to your favorite, local hobby store, RPG seller, and you grab yourself a bunch of cool stuff to add to the table. Really exciting. We're super excited to talk to Steve Ellis, who is a principal behind Free RPG Day. And I've always been curious about how Free RPG Day came to be. I mean, who got all these RPG designers together and said, hey, if you give me a bunch of free stuff, I'll put it in my store and then I'll give it away, but then people will know about your RPG. That's pretty cool. So what are y'all's experiences with Free RPG Day? Me personally, I'll go first. I learned about Dungeon Crawl Classics through Free RPG Day. They gave a free quick start booklet that had all the rules you needed to get started, about like which dice you needed to roll, and a whole adventure and everything. And now it led to me actually buying the big book, and I have it on my shelf, and I really love the game. And I hope other people have had similar experiences like that.
That's really cool, because I know that the Dungeon Crawl Classics became kind of one of your favorites for a little bit, or one of them when you enjoyed playing a lot. So that's really cool that you can find that. Anyone else who's got experience?
I think people should definitely go out tomorrow, find yourself a new RPG, because there are so many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I know it says Free RPG Day, but it's so much more. I've been to multiple of them. Sometimes they give you free minifigs, sometimes they give you free zines, and also they demo board games. They're like, oh, hey, you happen to be here. How about this board game? You seen this? Also, fun fact, one of the only other friends that I have that I haven't met on the internet, I've met at a Free RPG Day like 9 years ago, before I even started streaming, and we still play RPGs together to this day.
That's adorable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Noir?
So I discovered one of my favorite games thanks to Free RPG Day, which was Eldritch Horror, local game store near me. Where I was shouting about Wandering Dragon over in Joliet. Like, they're a really good game shop. Check them out. But they would let you try out a bunch of board games during Free RPG Day, and the one that I tried was Eldritch Horror, and I fell in love with it, and I met a lot of cool friends going there, playing that game. I bought it. I've bought most of the expansions. It's just a solid game all the way around, and I wouldn't have shelled out the money to buy it had I not gotten that tour through the game.
That first taste.
Yeah, that's how to get you.
Little taste. Free RPG Day, kids. You want a little minifig? Yeah.
So I don't have a whole lot of experience with Free RPG Day, as I've only recently gotten to RPGs in the last 5 years. But I've heard nothing but good things coming from this, and I'm probably going to take advantage by my local game store this week. So I'm very excited. Tomorrow, actually. Specifically tomorrow.
Yeah, so folks, why don't you just, check out your local hobby store, game store, whatever sells RPGs near you, and grab yourself some free stuff. It's going to be a great time. Speaking of free stuff, you can watch us play Star Trek Adventures tonight on game night. For Table Takes game night, we're playing Star Trek Adventures once again, but this time our lovely GM will be the treasure, the cherished wonder, Anita. We are so excited to be playing some more Star Trek Adventures with you, Anita. Thank you so much for helping us bring that. And that's going to be coming up right after this show. So stay tuned after our interview.
Got to keep the face close. Never know. Somebody can try to catch you slipping.
Noir prepared as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Noah.
I believe some of us will be in costume for this as well. So if you want to see me wearing the complete wrong colors for whatever character I get, stick around for that. It's going to be great.
The only costume I have that's not in storage after my move is a banana wizard costume. I don't know if does that apply to Star Trek or is that more
I
Star
feel
Wars?
like I saw that in Discovery. I think that was
Okay,
one
it's
of
a
the
new
finale episodes.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure Q wore it at least once.
Yeah. That sounds right. All right. Well, let's jump into our next headline. Marcus, why don't you take it away from here?
Absolutely, thank you. The Diana Jones Awards announces the finalists for 2023. This comes from us from Chase Carter of Dicebreaker. Thank you so much. The short list for the finalists of the 2023 Diana Jones Awards for Excellence in Games has been published, and it once again displays a surprising breadth of picks from across the industry and on the other side of the publisher-journal divide. For once, this is actually pretty cool. There's some news. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the short list is as follows: Coyote and Crow, a futuristic tabletop RPG created by Cherokee designer Connor Alexander that cuts the dead weight of colonialism for the far future visions of indigenous science fiction storytelling. We were lucky enough to have Coyote and Crow on our channel multiple times. They are fantastic. The game itself is fantastic. So we love to see them, and we make sure to shout them out from the top of our lungs at Gen Con this year. We're so excited. Next up is Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, a Dungeons & Dragons sourcebook that was created by a massive team of 50 artists of color across design, art, writing, and layout, containing 13 adventures and shared settings. The book enjoyed popular success and accolades for expanding the kind of content official D&D books serve to their massive audiences. A lot of really cool people worked on that, so it's always lovely to see that happen. Next up, we have Rosenstrass. Rosenstrass might be one of the most experimental entries on the 2023's nomination list. This freeform role-playing experience based on the very real protests in Nazi-controlled Germany in the months leading up to World War II and the implementation of the final solution. Centered on 4 pairs of men and women in relationships, Rosenstrass uses the backdrop of impending history to explode the tensions and strength of relationships as the whole world falls apart. This game is intense. I have picked this up now. I am really excited to try it out. It is a beautiful book. It seems like not only this is a great RPG, but it might be excellent for educational purposes. So I'm pretty happy with that. The next up, we have Coal Whirl. It might be the most recognizable game in board games at the moment, thanks to back-to-back successes of Root, PAX Premier, and John Company. The Diana Jones Company specifically points to his work in historical games at Whirligig, along with the prolific success of Leader Games as the bona fides that landed him in their sights this year. Fantastic. But here's the real kicker. For the first time ever, a journalist was awarded as the finalist for the Diana Jones Awards. This is Lynn Kodega. You might remember this name. A journalist at IO9, alongside being a writer and designer in their own right, who garnered attention and praise and scorn in equal measure for their coverage of Wizards of the Coast OGL fiasco earlier this year. Kodega's consistent pressure on the giant publishers and investigative reporting as Wizards bumbled messaging and rollout of their future plans opened the door to public pressure that arguably led to D&D's core rulebook being released into the Creative Commons. Very rarely does a journalist have that much impact on the gaming world, and that is fantastic to see Lynn signed up there. This is a great short list. What do y'all think?
I think that's so funny. Seeing a journalist who was talking about the same stuff that we were talking about on our show, about the OGL stuff. I mean, if you're gonna get like an award for anything, for sure it's gonna be for that, because that's like the biggest news in like the whole gaming world this year.
Yeah, we relied on them a lot for sources, like specifically their breakdowns for sources of this. So like huge shout out to Lynn Kodega.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to talk with them a few times, and they're one of the most consistently considerate and inquisitive people that I've ever met, and I'm extraordinarily happy to see them breaking this ground. I can't think of anybody that deserves it more.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like that this being a hallmark for them, or like just for the Diana Jones Award, it kind of seems like there's like a definite shoe-in of like, hey, this is the first time we offered this kind of category or person to be in, and you know that they're pretty big name. I don't know if you noticed they've been not only about the D&D stuff they've been digging around, but a lot more just so inquisitive.
Yeah,
Well, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, please, Javion.
I was just going to say congratulations to all of these finalists for making it this far. We are rooting for you. And I can't wait to see who wins the final award because we have been interviewing folks from the Diana Jones Awards nominees for the past few weeks. So we are really invested. So stick around, stay tuned for more news on that front. But speaking of RPGs, I have been waiting for this day for so long, and the time has finally come. Introducing Cryptozoic and their new RPG, Adventure Time. The Adventure Time RPG. It'll be the first time Adventure Time is used for an RPG. Cryptozoic got the license to actually create this, and it looks like they are going to put some really fun things in it. There's a really long quote from the designer of the RPG that's really excited to have the world of Adventure Time put on paper and pen and dice for people to. I really hope there's some custom dice, like with like Jake's head or something like that, or like contorted into like a dice shape, so you can like roll a bunch of Jake dice or something like that. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what you can actually do in the world because it's just the funniest, most like quirky and still like adult flavor. Not I don't mean like adult like inappropriate. I mean like marketed like cartoons for adults. You know what I mean? Like Rick and Morty or things like that. But I love this the show. I've watched every episode all the way through like twice now, and I was one of those folks who saw the ending to the whole series and got a little sad that it was all over. So this is really cool. I love that the new mechanics are going to be implemented, so it's not just like a carbon copy of a new RPG. It's going to feature a yes and game mechanic, which is going to use a custom set of dice to resolve action, and is designed to allow players to focus on the narrative without the need for complex calculations. So for all the folks who maybe don't like the math that D&D requires for you to understand like how spell slots work and adding D6s or D8s or whatever all of that is. Hopefully, this is going to be an RPG aimed at both new and experienced role players. It's so supposed to like on the side of the book it says ages 12 and up, but you know that's usually just who they pay to get tested with. I can definitely see this being like a family game, but I will be bringing it to game night as soon as I can get my hands on a copy, even if it's a PDF. I swear, I'm very very excited for this. Thank you to Jeffrey Dome Sanchez of ICV2 for bringing us this article here.
Yeah, Cryptozoic, if you want to, drop us an early copy of that game, we're not going to say no. I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch.
Thank you, Marcus. This is why we love having you on the show. Why don't we head into our next headline? This is a doozy. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Go ahead and take it away, Noir.
I've got some troubling news, everyone. I hate to bring the mood down like this, but
What happened?
Cracker Barrel has fallen.
No!
Defend the last Waffle House standing against a zombie apocalypse in this cheeky 2-page tabletop RPG. Thank you so much to Chase Carter of Dicebreaker for giving us this story. Why let a little thing like the end of the world stop the local Waffle House from serving hot coffee and warm meals? That's one of the questions at the heart and soul of the heart of this short and sweet tabletop RPG. Cracker Barrel has fallen, that imagines life at a diner during a zombie apocalypse. Set in whatever southern U.S. town or suburban shopping district the player desires, Cracker Barrel has fallen puts the group in the well-worn shoes of a Waffle House crew who have been told to survive a horde of ravenous zombies for 6 hours while the National Guard rushes to their rescue. Borrowing the simple and popular two-stat system from the mainstays such as Lasers and Feelings and Honey Heist, this title splits all skill challenges along the lines of wit and survival. Whenever the outcomes of a choice or action is unclear, players build a pool of dice based on their stats, skills, and applicable equipment and combine the two highest results. 6 or below is a full failure, while 12 earns player something extra. This game is inspired by let's just say there are some conservative medias that were unhappy with Cracker Barrel having pride decorations. Uh, and they reported that Cracker Barrel has fallen to the woke mob, and and it was just such a funny sentiment that there was almost like a silent agreement by everyone who saw that tweet that, oh, this is a sick game title, and it's great that somebody took the initiative to make the game Cracker Barrel has fallen. So regardless of how you feel about the initial opinion, you can probably see on my face how I feel about it. I think something great has come from it. And so if you have the chance, or if you find yourself at a Waffle House with nothing better to do, pick up Cracker Barrel has fallen.
I kind of like the idea of playing this at a Waffle House. Actually playing this at a Waffle House overnight.
Yeah.
You're on the road. You're tired. Maybe you hung over from the night before. Long drive ahead of you. Stop by a Waffle House. Throw down the game. See if any of the kitchen people want to come play with you. That sounds great to me.
I will tell you this: if you are playing this at a Waffle House, be prepared to fight.
I'm not in a Noir. I am not in a Waffle House unless I'm prepared to fight. That is just the rules. It's on the door when you enter a Waffle House. Hey, Chandler, Arizona Waffle House. I see you. I love you, and I'll be back soon.
Thank you, Marcus, for that wonderful message. Folks, if you want to check it out, it's Cracker Barrel Has Fallen is available as a pay what you want digital download on its itch.io page. And just check out the link in chat to the Dice Breaker article. Scroll down, and you can find the link there. All right. Let's roll into our next RPG-related headline, Bonsai.
All right, I hope you guys are feeling giggly, happily, and sunshine, because guess what? I got something to talk about. 500-Year-Old Vampire. You remember playing 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, where it's a book where you slowly lose memories of all the people you ever known and loved as you slowly lose humanity and the darkness overwhelms you and all you can see is the endless hopelessness? Well, now you can share that adventure with other people. Actually, I actually do really, if you ever have a chance to play a solo RPG game that you want to feel some feels at, definitely pick up 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. For this one, they did a spin. It's a new twist to the formula. Now you're a 500-year-old vampire that consists of, you and maybe 3 to 4 other people form a vampire covenant that agrees to meet every so often, or every 100 years or so, to just kind of touch base with the only other people that can barely grasp the sense, kind of like, I still have a little humanity, maybe. So as you're going through this game, you're passing, ask questions. You go ahead and you get cards assigned to you, where maybe you make some artifacts, you rip some cards, you burn some cards. It's all about prompting, content, all this context of creation and whether or not you still remember and hear, and if having somebody there through those journeys can keep you human. 500-Year-Old Vampire will be launching on BackerKit for a physical copy on July 18th. The version will contain everything you need. Basically, it will be for both international and U.S. national Common Core writing standards. So, hey, I'm glad that they're also offering this game in more than one language. But yeah, there's just supposed to be a collaborative, have your feels. What about you guys? Any of you guys ever played 1,000-Year-Old Vampire?
I wanted to, but I didn't get a chance. I think I own it.
What'd you think, Noir?
I didn't finish playing it because I got to the point where I had to choose between a couple of memories that I really liked, and I'm like, well, yeah, here's how I win. And I closed and I stopped
Wow.
playing.
That is sometimes the only way to win a game, though.
The only way to win is not to play.
Exactly.
I
No,
love I love an RPG that you can like keep things with you. I remember in a D&D game, several of them, my players wanted to pin up the character sheets for from dead characters on the
Oh.
wall, so like they could keep them with them as they play their future games and stuff like that.
Huh.
And this has all of like the vibes of just like creepy, grim, dark stuff, but like you're keeping things along the way as you play, and that to me is just really innovative. I love seeing stuff like that in my RPGs. I hope to see some more stuff like that too. All right, let's move on
Cool.
to our next headline. Yes, yet another RPG. We're in the mood for RPGs because RPG free RPG day is tomorrow. So yeah, Noir, take it away.
Catalyst Games, Catalyst Games Labs shoot straight with new Shadowrun sourcebook. Um, Catalyst Game Labs will release Shoot Straight, a new source book for Shadowrun RPG, into retail on July 12th, 2023. Shoot Straight covers a variety of street smart related information. It offers advice to players as to how to conduct covert operation, run con games, and avoid getting caught. The book also includes meta plot hints, story hooks, and general game advice to help runners delve deeper into Shadowrun 6 World, and this book is going to retail for $49.99. The only thing you are allowed to do straight this month is shoot with this book. So check it out. It's going to be fantastic. Honestly, I really do love Shadowrun. It is a deep and thorough RPG system with rules for how to do everything. And I think once you bite down into it and commit to like existing in that world, it's an incredible game. So I can't wait to get my hands on this and see what further shenanigans I can get myself into. But I'm curious as to what all of you think. Have you played Shadowrun? What do you think?
Well, I'm curious about. I've never played the RPG game except I played the Hairbrained Schemes Shadowrun computer games, and so like it kind of does a good job of laying out the world. But I might need to put up together a game night one of these nights for this.
Now I'll tell you
It's
this
complicated.
much. You're gonna have to devote some time,
Oh,
but it is worth it. It is worth it. I like to tell people that Shadowrun is what you think Pathfinder 2 is. Like there's a lot there, but it's absolutely worth it.
I know so few people that would be controversial with.
I'll be honest, Shadowrun is best when you have it more of a homebrew of somebody who knows the rules and is willing to be like, that rule doesn't make sense. Throw it in the trash. That's the best way to play it, and that's how we play it in our games. We're like, that rule's dumb. Throw it away. It doesn't matter. Who cares about that Decker rule? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I always feel like I kind of missed out on the whole sci-fi craze when I was growing up as a kid. I got a little bit into like fantasy stuff, and I feel like that's definitely my lane now. But RPGs are how I've actually been able to get more information about like sci-fi things and get more inspiration on it. And Shadowrun, I think, in that sort of cyberpunk sci-fi vein, is something super interesting, and I've always really wanted to get into it. So yeah, I guess we'll have to keep an eye out on July 12th to see this RPG new source book for some of y'all's favorite RPG. Okay, so let's move on to our final RPG related headline here. This one you probably have heard about it because it's kind of all over Twitter right now. The Dungeons and Drag Queens show is coming to Dimension 20. Dungeons and Drag Queens has had its own sort of like staple in Seattle, actually. There's a show that happens pretty frequently where drag queens get together at a bar on Capitol Hill and they do a live show where they play D&D. And the folks at Dimension 20 had the idea of getting even more celebrities, putting them on their show, on their streaming service, Dropout, and having actually gotten permission from the folks who make Dungeons and Drag Queens here in Seattle to use that name. Well, more of like a blessing. But now we have a cool live play with some of our favorite drag queens. I'm sure you're very excited to hear who they are. So, we've got Bob the drag queen, Alaska Thunder. I won't say the last word. We've got Monet Exchange and Jujubee. They are going to be playing with Brennan Lee Mulligan as the GM, and they're going to be playing in an all new, sort of very unique two Dimension 20 setting, where they have to. It's some sort of vague plot about trying to gain the favor of the goddess of death in exchange for a boon. Very, very strong RuPaul's Drag Race vibes there. But if you want to see any of the art that they've already designed for their characters, Monet Exchange is going to be playing a merfolk assassin. Alaska Thunder, is going to be playing Princess, an 8-foot tall orc barbarian. Bob the drag queen is going to be playing Gertrude, a powerful and introverted sorceress. And Jujubee is going to be Twilight, a fae soldier and ranger. I love the art for them already. I'm super excited to see these characters and as they unfold. I just finished watching the Ravening War on Dimension 20, and I've been really excited for that conclusion. And it was just phenomenal. They did so well. Matt Mercer, great DM, as always. But Brennan Lee Mulligan taking the reins back for a drag queen related show. So super excited to see how this series plays out. It'll be launching on YouTube on June 28th. We don't have to wait much longer. They're celebrating Pride Month with a little bit of drag queens playing our favorite RPG. So super excited for that. Can't wait to see how much comedy they can pull out together. The teaser trailer is in the link in chat if you want to check it out. It's already just had me like bawling. It's so funny. I love drag queens. I love these drag queens. So yeah, super exciting. Okay, and for our final headline here, Bonsai, why don't you take it away?
Hi, yes. I'm doing this a little bit early. Hey, I don't know if you guys know, Halloween's my favorite holiday. And guess what? Thank you, Christian Hoffer at comicbook.com for doing this. Pokemon cards, are now launching. Pokemon Company has now announced that they're going to be launching Trick or Trade for a lot of people during the Halloween season. A lot of people are like, no more candies. I can die. I'm allergic to everything. And so they're giving this other alternative. Instead of passing out candy, you can pass out mini booster packs of Pokemon cards. This is a $20 package of 50 mini booster packs. Each mini booster comes with 3 cards, including 1 foil card that are good to like play all legal cards and stuff like that. And it's just something fun you can give the kids to keep Pokemon alive. I like that alternative. I also heard about like Legos being passed out as well. And of course, now that like people can give out candy again, I no longer need to launch candy from my catapult for social distancing.
You still could launch Pokemon cards from your catapult, though, if you wanted. That might be kind of fun. Or Lego bricks if you really just want to shut those kids down.
Yes. Lego bricks. But yes, so $20 that's cheaper than buying candy for a lot of people. Just saying.
I would be happy if somebody dropped a little booster pack in my what do the kids use nowadays for trick or treating?
I think they use
pumpkin bucket.
No, they use Lightyear from the movie Lightyear buckets.
Oh, I see.
See, but my nightmare is like a kid opening up the pack in front of me, getting a card that I want.
Give me that kid.
Because now I gotta fight a kid. Like if I gave a kid a Twix, I don't gotta fight the kid. If I give a kid a booster pack and he opens it up and it's like a limited edition Mew or something, I don't know what the popular Pokemons are anymore. But I will fight that kid. I will fight that kid.
You're thinking of Vaporeon and Lopunny. Those are the ones that are popular these days. Those are the only ones you need to worry about. Kids love Lopunny.
We need to change topics immediately.
Well, it seems like we're about to hit the time of the day where we get into our crowdfunders.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay, well,
yeah.
Allow me to go first. I have been looking at this ad on Facebook for too long, and I just had to show you guys. This sounds really cool. It is a crowdfunding campaign called Wreck This Deck. It's a game of demon summoning and deck crafting. It ends in 6 days, and it's all about summoning demons and defacing cards as you go. What you do is you become what's called a deck runner. You delve into the dark knowledge of the underbelly of the world, and you live life on the edge as a demon summoning deck runner. You get to bind demons into your haunted deck, wielding their strength for yourself, while you modify playing cards to create a personalized deck just for you, spattered with paint, blood, and sigils. And it all comes all inclusive in the box once you order it, or once you back it on BackerKit. BackerKit has been releasing a lot of bangers lately. I feel like I've seen a lot of big name stuff, but I've also seen a lot of indie stuff like this. I used to do one of those Wreck This journals. Some of you might have seen before, where you literally just go around in your daily life putting stuff in a journal. And I mean, actually putting stuff in it, like plants or like food or like whatever you find while you're walking in the park or something like that. So I'm really excited for something like this because it uses sort of regular playing cards that you might have seen, like the 52 card decks. But this started as a PDF only game, and now it's getting its full, physical card treatment. So this seems really cool. Definitely back it if you want to add something unique to your collection and have a wonderful solo RPG experience. I can't wait to get my copy. All right,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Do you mind if I say something? I'm surprised that you like this game when you hate spooky things, but you want to literally do some spooky stuff that might summon things, Javion. Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay,
But-
fair enough. Fair enough. Why don't we talk about a little bit more spooky stuff? I think there's another crowdfunder on deck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's time. I've been wanting to talk about this one for a while, which is the Triangle Agency. Now, I know you're probably asking yourself, what is the Triangle Agency? Well, it is a tabletop role-playing game in a present-day setting about wielding enormous reality warping power, navigating bureaucratic red tape, and juggling your everyday responsibilities. Player characters work at Triangle Agency, an international corporation with influence in every industry. As field agents, players investigate and capture supernatural anomalies that threaten the lives and comfort of normal citizens. Designed for medium-sized campaigns, about 10 to 15 missions, their unique game system supports seamless transitions between chilling horror, wacky comedy, and the emotional truth of trying to survive in a world with no right answers. This is a system that well, they boast about it. They want to embrace your table's natural chaos. This is a very interesting TTRPG. I've had my eye on it for a while. There's 13 days left for you to back it. They're currently at $195,971 on a goal of $9,999. You get a suite. You can of course, jump into different tiers, get a core rule book, get a vault, which has a couple more missions for you, and of course, a triangle agenda for character planning, which allows you to have about 6 different agents. This is just a really cool looking system, and I fully support it, and I think you should give it a look too, because it's awesome. But yeah, there you go.
You had me at agency approved dice. As soon as I saw that,
yeah, you want to roll 3s on D4s in this. It's wacky. Like, yeah, I love it.
That sounds so. This is right up my alley, gameplay wise. Like I loved. Wait, what is this? I'm sorry, I'm getting something in the headset.
Huh? What?
Our interview's here. It's interview time.
Oh my gosh, everybody! We have been so excited.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
We've been so excited. So, Bonsai, why don't you lead us in for this interview?
Okay.
Here we go.
So
bringing Steve in now.
We're waiting to switch over to our interview about Free RPG Day. Thank you, Steve, for joining us. I hope you're having a great time. Connect into the stream. Do. Steve, hello. How are you doing? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Howdy.
Thank you
Hey
for
there.
joining us for this special episode of Table Takes. We are so excited to see you and to speak to you. We have so many questions for you. Would you
Sounds
like
great.
to would you like to introduce yourself for our chat?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Steve Ellis. I'm one of the owners of Free RPG Day, which is basically a holiday to celebrate role-playing games in retail stores across the world. So that's I think that's the main reason I'm here to talk about Free RPG Day.
Well, it must be really fun to work on like such a huge thing that happens like every year like this. Uh, how did it get started in the first place?
So Free RPG was founded in 2007 by Aldo Giozzi. And then myself and a couple of other retailers at the time took over the event in 2019. So it's myself, Travis Severance, Paul Butler, and those guys own two giant retail stores. Travis's store is Millennium Games in Rochester, New York, and Paul owns a store in Baltimore called Games and Stuff. I owned a store for 22 years called Rainy Day Games. So between the three of us, we've got over 70 years of retail experience. So we kind of felt like we knew what stores wanted, and we're all huge fans of role playing games. So it was kind of a nice blending of skills, and we all were very excited about it. And Aldo, the original founder, he had just kind of gotten burnt out and tired of it. He still really loved the event and wanted it to continue to grow and succeed. So he'd been looking for a few years for someone to take it over. And it just kind of worked out that Paul, Travis, and I had been kind of looking for a reason to have a business together for years. Having retail stores all over the country, we'd kind of grown to know each other and we were super close. And we had the same kind of passion for games and events at stores. And so Aldo came to us and said, why don't you guys just take this thing over? And so we were like, oh, that's interesting. And then we kind of talked about it, and it's like, oh yeah, it was a really good fit. So we made that all happen in 2019.
That's awesome. So what do you actually do? Like, what is your job within that company?
So we've got the three of us. So between the three of us, we kind of split up the duties. We all kind of do a little bit of everything. Paul's kind of our point man on, bringing new publishers into the fold. So that kind of thing. So Paul's kind of the point man for working with if a new RPG accessory company or a new publisher comes up that's interested in, being part of the day. Paul's typically the point man for that. Travis is really kind of the core guy that deals with our retail store partners and talks to them and kind of promotes the event and does all that kind of stuff. And then I kind of help on both those things and also kind of spearhead a bunch of our logistical stuff in the background. So if somebody needs help finding a printer to get their free RPG Day thing made, I can help with that sometimes. And then I deal with our fulfillment partners as well to make sure that our product gets out to Australia and the UK and other parts of Europe and stuff like that, as well as getting to the roughly 500 or so US retailers that participate.
I guess my question for you is, since like you've participated, I'm sure before you
Yeah.
started signing up for this, is there like a favorite like free RPG Day moment in your head that you're like, yes, this is why I want to take over, and this is why I want to do this?
Tough
I
question.
think, yeah, I mean, I think it's not just a moment. I had a retail store for 22 years. Once we started running Free RPG Day, it was really apparent that there was no other kind of retail holiday on the calendar for role playing games, right? So for me, it became a really strong opportunity to kind of embrace my local community and be that kind of community hub for role players, And I think role players often feel like a little bit left out at the retail level, right? I mean, they carry role playing games, but there's card game tournaments every week. People have, big release events for their fancy miniatures games or board games and stuff. And a lot of times role playing games are just kind of feel a little bit like they're a core part of our hobby, but kind of an afterthought, So this was a real opportunity, and myself and my store really embraced it early on. And then it became our best sales day of the year, with the exception of the week before Christmas. I mean, those days are great. You can't knock that, right? But it was traditionally our best sales day of the year because it was a real opportunity for that entire fan base to engage, and they didn't have another option, right? So it wasn't like there was a monthly, we ran RPG events all the time, monthly things and stuff like that. But they were all small, like, for a specific game on this day, right? So you get a handful of people in for those but it's typically existing fans for a game, right? So you might get some guys in for a Pathfinder Society event or something like that, but they're typically Pathfinder Society fans already, right? With Free RPG Day, we do a lot of outward marketing, and it's a big opportunity to bring in all kinds of new fans, kind of like on Free Comic Book Day, right? So if people can come into the stores, they get some free stuff. We encourage stores to turn it into like a mini convention, you know, give away some prizes, do whatever crazy stuff you want. If you want to do a costume contest, some stores do that, you know. So
Oh,
there's
that's
there's all
awesome.
kinds of stuff you can do that makes it fun. So for me, it's just kind of the ongoing excitement of having that kind of celebration for the thing that I've always loved, right? I mean, role-playing games got me into the hobby, way back when D&D was the option, right? So it's kind of it feels good to give back to a community that's given me so much over my entire life of gaming.
That's amazing. We were actually spending this morning talking about some of our experiences personally with Free RPG Day, and I had only ever experienced Free Comic Book Day, and they were describing me like Bonsai met a gamer that they play with all the time. Javion's met found one of his favorite games. Same thing with Noir. Like the fact that you could just go to a store and pick up all these new types of things, new things you've never experienced, is so fantastic. So my question is for you: is there any game or anything you're giving away for Free RPG Day that you're most excited about this year?
Oh man. I mean, it's like how do I dance around that question with all of our publishing partners, right? Um,
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I mean, some things that are getting tremendous feedback from fans and otherwise is we've got, always get strong support from the Paizo guys, right? That team's just great. They give us Starfinder and Pathfinder every year. So that's super exciting. I mean, one of the things that's been, really big this year and following up on last year, we have a little publication we put together called Level One. And Level One is a compilation of a bunch of like 1 to 4 page indie RPGs, right? And so that's kind of my personal favorite. The Ninth Level Games team, who did Mazes and Kobolds Ate My Baby and that kind of stuff, they work with us to put that publication together every year. And so that's something that between Ninth Level and ourselves, we kind of fund and put together and make happen. So that's kind of, I mean, it's always going to have a soft spot in my heart. That's the thing we started when we took over in 2019. Last year, the Level One publication won an Emmy, right? So that was super cool for us, right? To see this little thing that we started, kind of get some recognition that we felt it deserved. I think it's great because that publication gives some folks that have never been published before a chance to get a lot of exposure, right?
Yeah.
And so for us, that's great, right? Bringing some new people into the fold, letting some, young new designers get some exposure, which is just fantastic, right? So I think that's kind of my personal favorite. It will always be not no knock to our publishing partners that do all the other cool stuff, but that's kind of our baby, right? So we really are proud of it, and we have a lot of fun with that, and it's neat because you can just it's a lot of really fun like one-off adventure type things, right? So if you got a group of friends coming over, you can pull something out of that book and just play it that night and have a blast.
I have gotten people addicted to these 1, 2 page RPGs. That's how I get people hooked. It is so simple to pick up. We love them. We play a lot of Ninth Level on Sarah's Table, which comes up a little bit later in the day. We play a whole bunch of their games, so we're already big fans.
Yeah, I mean, that team is amazing to work with. They're super talented, super creative, and the fact that they were excited and willing to do this thing with us was, kind of one of the highlights of my careers, right? It's fun to put something together that the fans truly love. That's not, just a D&D supplement, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Uh, my question is, it's been amazing to see this thing grow over time. Um, are there any ways that you can imagine this continuing its expansion? And do other stores kind of look at you to see what the next wave is?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, our plans is to continue to grow the event, right? So for us, I think our biggest, short-term goals are to continue growing. We've grown it from, I think in 2019 we shipped, I don't know, about 650, 670 kits out to retailers all over the world. And this year we shipped 1,200 kits, right? So this year our kit was 43 pounds. Yeah, which I wrote the shipping bill, the check for the shipping bill last week, and it was daunting. Um, uh, so that was a little scary. But I mean, our goal is to continue to grow not only the quantity of the kits that we send out to stores all over the world, but also to grow the quality of the kits themselves. So I mean, we're super proud of the kit we produced this year. We want to make the kits better. I think our first short-term goal is we often have some items in the kit that are like really cool kind of fancy items that are not just a supplement or a quick start guide or something like that, but maybe like a really fancy dice set that's customized with our logo or things like that. And a lot of times we end up with only one of those per kit. So I think our big short-term goal is to make sure that we can increase the quantity of those kind of specially hotly sought after items. So maybe we can get to a point where the minimum of those is like 3 per kit, right? That's kind of one of the short-term goals where I think would add the most value to fans, right? Because then, more people can get the cool thing.
So I'm assuming I'm probably rightfully so that you play a lot of RPGs. You've gotten a lot of exposure to them at the very least. Do you have any
Yep.
suggestions for folks who are looking for something new that maybe isn't like widely known?
Oh, I mean, let's see, what's new right about now? Dragonbane from Free League. Um, that it looks fantastic. I've read through it, I've looked at it. I have not got to play for real yet. Like a lot of RPG fans, right? There are a handful of things that I get a chance to look at first, but sometimes it takes me a while to get them on the table. Um, uh, there's so
So
much cool
true.
content, so much cool content, right? I mean,
And
more cool content than I think anyone could consume. One of the hot things in the kit this year is an RPG called Heckin' Good Doggos.
that's a great name. That's a name I can get
It's
behind.
a
I've immediately
fantastic game.
fallen in love with it. Whatever it is, I want it.
So, how can you not be excited about playing that, right? Am I going to play a 20-year campaign of Heckin' Good Doggos? Probably not, but I think it's going to be a blast to get on a table with my friends.
I mean, that's just extra like fodder for us to play on TableTakes game night
Yeah.
because we
Oh,
play these little one-offs like all the time.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just going to be more stuff that we bring on.
yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see you guys play that kind of stuff. I'd love to see you guys do maybe some one-offs from the level one thing, right? I mean, I think that'd
Absolutely.
be really fun, right? So there's a lot of cool content there. There's all kinds of, I mean, there's so many good games, right? There's the kit this year has some real classics too. I mean, there's a vampire supplement in there, kind of going way back, right? It's the new vampire, right? So I mean, but it's fun to see that stuff circle back around and get really, fun new treatment from Renegade Games. And they're doing a great job with it, and then, like I said, this year the company that really kind of went above and beyond for us in the kit was Magpie Games.
Mm.
And they've got the Root RPG and Avatar. And wow. Like, I mean, it's so amazing looking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's super exciting. Those guys have been fantastic new partners that have, come on the last few years for us and really just hit the scene with a lot of buzz and a lot of hype, and their products have delivered. So it's always fun for me to see a game, that does those kind of numbers on Kickstarter like Avatar did, and then have the game come out and then realize that everyone playing it is actually loving it, right? It wasn't just an IP that generated a bunch of money on a crowdfunding site, right? It's a
Exactly.
legit awesome role playing experience.
That's awesome. I think we have time for one more question. Does
Certainly.
anybody have one? I did. I have the pretty obvious question. Do you have any plans to come to Gen Con? And if so,
Yeah.
are you guys giving anything away?
So at Gen Con, alas, because our kits were so successful this year, we won't have any product to give away at Gen Con.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Blessing.
We are at Origins. We are at Origins this week giving product away. You'll notice that I am in my hotel room, so I am self-sequestered because I tested positive for COVID.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
So I'm like coordinating things from the room, and hoping that I'm in good shape to leave soon.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my
Well,
gosh. Thank you so much for joining us.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I'm,
much.
I'm
We'll
actually not. I'm not feeling too bad. But I don't want to expose anyone else to anything.
Thank you
So
for that. I'm
Yeah.
sure
yeah,
we and everyone else appreciates that 100%.
yeah. So it's disappointing not to hang with everybody, but it is what it is. So I'll do my part and stay in my room. But yeah, it's great. So we won't have anything. We are giving stuff away at Origins this weekend. So I've got a couple people down in the booth helping out, and we're giving it all away. We are definitely going to run out of product tomorrow. The Origins crowd has been ravenous for the free RPG day product.
Oh, I
So
bet.
Oh
I mean,
man.
it's Origins. Yeah, I bet.
yeah, it's great.
Well,
It's
Steve,
great.
we're gonna let you get a little bit of rest. We're gonna let you
Cool.
go here, but why don't you stick around for just a bit because we're gonna sign
Sure.
off. I just want to say, from all of us to you, thank you so much for coming on today. We had a
It was
blast
a
interviewing you.
it was a delight. Thanks for having me.
So, folks, thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Table Takes. We have had so much fun bringing the news to you, but don't go anywhere because right after this, we have a very special episode of Table Takes Game Night where the lovely Anita will be running Star Trek adventures for us once again. I can't wait to see how Marcus dies in this one.
I'm not
Uh,
gonna die.
and at 5 p.m. PDT, join us for some joyful gaming around Sarah's table. Sarah and Jeff Moore are going to be playing Adventurer and Troll. That sounds amazing. I'm pretty sure I've seen this before, and you guys are definitely going to want to check this out. It's coming up right after Table Takes Game Night. Okay, uh, just to give you a rundown of our schedule, maybe it's your first time here. Uh, on Mondays, all of our times are Pacific. 9 a.m., we've got Peter versus the Machine playing more Civilization 6 because apparently he's just doing really well at being the computer at it. So we want to see more of him doing that. At 4 p.m. on Mondays, we have board games with the Brothers Murph, followed by Dress to Quest at 6 p.m. On Wednesdays, we've got more Actoroki coming up at 6 p.m. And on Thursdays, we've got Blood on the Clock Tower at 10 and Roll with Rem Alternus at 4 p.m. And then, of course, you can join us right back here every Friday at 2 p.m. for more Table Takes Game Night, and Sarah's Table every week. Thank you once again to all of our lovely viewers at home and all of our wonderful hosts here today. Thank you once again, Marcus, for filling in for Peter. Peter, sorry you couldn't be here with us today. I know you're real upset that you're not going to be able to play Star Trek Adventures with us because you had so much fun doing that with us last time and running that for us. But unfortunately, he can't be here. So
Get us one of those kits while you're at Origins.
Yeah, Peter, you're at Origins. Get us up.
yeah. If you miss any of our programming, you can always check out the VODs, video on demand, here on Twitch or on YouTube 24 hours later. Or I guess you could just follow us here on Gen Con TV. That way, you never miss out on more of the best 4 days in gaming all year round. All right, we will see you at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time for some Star Trek adventures. Just a quick sign off to all y'all folks. Have a great day. We'll see you in a bit. Steve, thank you again for coming on. I hope you recover very quickly. Bye, everybody.
Bye.